Hello and welcome back. I am Coach Castle. This is the third part of my Brick by Brick lecture series, Back to Basics 101. In this third part of the lecture, I discuss why planning our lives is so important for our success and our happiness. There are so many varying opinions on the keys to success and leading a meaningful, happy, and fulfilling life. Working hard, having discipline, and sacrificing are just a few examples of things you will need to do to have a meaningful and happy life. I believe that one of the integral factors necessary to be successful at anything is proper planning. Proper planning is much needed to not only encourage us to achieve the goal that we set out for, but also to break it up into bite-sized pieces or small goals that makes achieving them much more attainable due to the progress effect over time. Planning gives us a clear perspective on what needs to be done, what goals are to be achieved, and what amount of time should be spent on completing those goals. The ability to plan efficiently can be closely associated with having proper time management skills. This is because it encourages the planner to set aside a reasonable time for a specific task before moving on to the next. Now, these self-imposed deadlines are a healthy form of motivation, which is much needed for procrastinators. What planning does is to help prepare a guideline or a relative timeline on how to maintain and reach goals that we have set up for ourselves, like a roadmap. Planning takes many different shapes and sizes, as you can create this roadmap for accomplishing your goals. You will find planning allows for the planner to sift out any negative distraction towards their original plan and to keep focused on the main objective. Planning your life is the equivalent of sitting down with a roadmap that helps you reach your desired destination. It would be very foolish to get in your car and drive around aimlessly hoping to eventually reach your destination. Despite this, so many people in the world today fail to plan their lives and end up lost or stuck where they are. Planning helps make your dreams more attainable, as previously mentioned, by breaking them down into small pieces. Now, if you feel like your dreams are always beyond your reach, it might be because you have never tried to develop a plan on how you can actually reach them. Once you develop a realistic plan, and it's set in place, you will be amazed at how achievable your dreams really can be in a short period of time. Planning your goals and your direction helps to give you a clear perspective on what matters and what is possible to accomplish. Planning how to accomplish these goals will force you to organize them, and also to prioritize them and put them in perspective. Then, and only then, will you see success, and you will be rewarded for your planning. Now, to get started producing these great results, let's talk about my brick-by-brick method of breaking down your dream into small, attainable steps, which you work on a daily basis. The first thing to figure out is what is your ultimate goal. Then, we need to find out, working backwards, what is needed to achieve that ultimate goal. What are some short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals that you can set that will then become steps on your way to completing your dream? So let's imagine you want to build a castle. Now you're going to start building that castle hopefully by laying out a plan of how you're going to do it. You are then going to begin by building a wall. This wall will be made of bricks. The bricks will symbolize your daily actions leading into that wall, and the wall will symbolize those daily actions adding up over time. And with enough walls, of course, your castle will eventually be complete. Imagine you want to build a castle, and so to begin with, you must hopefully have a plan in place for what it's going to look like. After you have established what your castle will look like, you then need to first lay your first brick. Now the bricks will symbolize the daily actions or small steps that you take on a daily basis to achieve your castle. After enough days have passed, you will have enough bricks to create a wall. And of course, after enough walls have been created, you will basically have your castle. Now each goal you reach will add a brick to your wall. And these goals, as mentioned, should pertain to the main goal. Using a goal-driven system will increase your productivity and effectiveness, thus moving you forward towards your desired goal. And each will help move you forward towards completing that wall, therefore achieving that medium-sized goal. Begin by setting your long-term goals that you plan to achieve within the next few years. They can be reached over time by completing many tasks along that way that will push you towards achieving those goals. These goals that are meant to be achieved at the end of a long period of time set the tone for the steps you will take on your way there and also how long it will take. Now, in order to hold yourself accountable, you should set a time frame in which you would like to achieve your long-term goal. So this may sound something along the lines of, I will purchase my first car within 3 years of starting my career. Now, after you have set your long-term goals, you can then set your medium-term goal. Medium-term goals act as walls made up of the many day-to-day bricks you stack together to build your castle. So in the example of this new car, if you would make it your goal to purchase your first car within 3 years of starting your career, a reasonable medium-term goal would be to save 33% of the total cost by the end of the first year of your career. Now, if you went further and made that an annual medium-term goal, you would have enough money to buy the car you want in cash at the end of 3 years. Of course, the word medium speaks for itself. It is not a minor day-to-day goal, but it is also not the ultimate goal. It is just one wall in your blueprint, not an entire wing of your castle. Along with the long-term goals, medium-term goals should also be set within a time frame. This is the most reliable way to hold yourself accountable. Your medium-term goals should be followed by your short-term goals. These are to be completed on a daily basis. Short-term goals should be obtained easily. Upon achieving these goals, you will be adding a smaller brick to your wall. In the case of the car example, simply by saving a set amount of money on a daily basis will be pushing you towards that goal. It is suggested that you break up these goals into daily or weekly deadlines. The daily will be for the minor bricks, and the weekly will be, hopefully, for the walls. This way, you have time to achieve them, but not enough time to let them slip away from you or to let you procrastinate. Of course, these short-term goals should be part of the larger picture. Remind yourself that the smaller bricks are just as important as the larger ones in forming your brick wall. You should always lay each brick as perfectly as you're able to. That being said, never be afraid simply to start. So once again, we will visit the car example. To begin with, you may want to set a short-term daily goal such as research what car you would like, what cars are in your budget, narrow down cars that you would prefer, perhaps visit different car dealerships to get their quotes, or call a few. These are all smaller pieces of the puzzle to eventually reach your long-term goal of buying your first car. Now, long-term goals can often seem very far-fetched or simply wishes. The use of medium-term and short-term goals allows you to see your goals in a different light and make them feel much more attainable. You determine what you can and will accomplish. You set the standard, you set the bar. If you believe in yourself, dream big, and set realistic goals, you are capable of achieving whatever it is you desire. History proves this point over and over. Patience is key, and taking these things step by step will make your goals more easily attainable, but you must be consistent. You may not have every step of the process planned out from the very beginning, and that's okay. But even the smallest task will add a brick to your wall. If you let your lack of planning stop you from getting started, you very likely never will. It is very important to always be willing to start badly, and to start with a bad first draft and be willing to look foolish. The only way to get good at anything in this world is to practice it, and everyone starts from ground zero. Never forget that the greatest musicians, painters, architects, and engineers all started from zero, no knowledge. They simply kept grinding and pushing themselves on a daily basis, consistently, until they were masters of their craft. Now, of course, you can do this too, and this is how.
Here's what it looks like. Being the best, what it looks like. To be a cut up of the best, what it looks like.